From Rwanda Broadcasting Agency, this is RwandaTV News. We start with the headlines. Rwanda has issued an announcement condemning the false accusations that the country is supporting the M23 rebel group in the eastern DRC. Also coming up, BioNTech SE has reached the next milestone in the establishment of the scalable mRNA vaccine production in Africa. And later, the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, Donatille Mukabadisa, appreciates the role of the European Union in helping the country in various sectors. Welcome to RwandaTV News. I am Isabel Masozera, and this is what we have top of our edition. Rwanda has issued an announcement condemning the false accusations that the country is supporting the M23 rebel group in the eastern DRC, saying that such accusations are just attempts to distract from the real cause of the continuing conflict. We start this coverage with Selch Inori.
The announcement begins by pointing out that accusing Rwanda of support to the Congolese armed group M23 is wrong and distracts from the real cause of continued conflict in the eastern DRC and its impact on the security of neighboring countries, including Rwanda. It goes on to say that it is a mistake to conflate the measures that Rwanda has put in place to guard its borders with support for any particular armed group in the DRC. It stresses that such tired old blame games undermine ongoing efforts by regional leaders, particularly the Nairobi and Luanda initiatives, to which Rwanda is fully committed. It also points out that, like all states, Rwanda has a right to territorial integrity and reserves the right to defend its borders and citizens against cross-border attacks. It reminds that Rwanda's territorial integrity has been consistently violated over the years by both FARDC and the FDLR, including a brutal attack in October 2019 in Kinigi, a tourist area in northern Rwanda, that killed 14 innocent villagers. Several cross-border rocket shelling incidents earlier this year, incursions into Rwanda by soldiers of the Congolese armed forces, and an airspace violation by a Congolese fighter jet just last month. This is in addition to the targeting of Rwanda's border areas by the FDLR as they fight alongside FARDC against other armed groups in the eastern DRC. The announcement also observes that there has been no accountability for the failure of the DRC government to deal with the over 130 armed groups in its territory. The serious abuses against civilians committed by the Congolese armed forces and its auxiliary armed groups, including the genocidal remnant militia group known as the FDLR, which has been preserved for decades in the DRC. The announcement also points out the painful truth that the authorities in the DRC have also given license to virulent anti-Rwandophone and anti-Tutsi hate speech, public incitement, mob killings, and targeted violence, as detailed in reports of the UN and other regional international organizations. It reminds that Rwanda is host to over 80,000 Congolese refugees in camps, many for more than 20 years, and stresses that the international community should have the decency to address the persecution of a group of Congolese citizens, as well as how refugees of the same group can exercise their right to return safely to their country instead of languishing in refugee camps permanently. It goes on to say that attempting to manage complex situations by simply repeating and amplifying the false allegations of the DRC government cannot lead to solutions, noting the sensationalized Chishishe massacre, a fabrication of the DRC government that is attributed to M23, that has quickly spread without any investigation of the facts by any credible entity, despite indications that the incident was in fact an armed confrontation between M23 and illegal armed groups allied to FARDC, observing that this is symbolic of how the mess in the DRC has been encouraged and sustained for decades. It concludes by saying that it is worth recalling that a United Nations peacekeeping operation, currently under MONUSCO, has been present in the eastern DRC for more than 22 years at a cost of over $1 billion annually, with little tangible results, and that blaming Rwanda reflects an unwillingness on the part of the international community to face up to the root causes of the conflict in the eastern DRC and to demand true accountability from the state and non-state actors who are responsible for the resulting legacy of failure.
Now to health news. BioNTech SE has reached the next milestone in the establishment of a scalable mRNA mRNA vaccine production in Africa. The 6 ISO-sized shipping containers for the first BioNTech trainer have finished construction in Europe, underwent quality checks by BioNTech experts, and are being prepared for shipment to Kigali, where they're expected to arrive in the first quarter of next year. In parallel, BioNTech continues to develop and build its state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Kigali following the groundbreaking in June. The facility will be housing the first Bion trainers and is expected to become a node in the decentralized and robust end-to-end manufacturing network in Africa. BioNTech also expects to ship Bion trainers to Senegal and potentially South Africa in close coordination with each respective country in the African Union. Vaccines to be manufactured in this Africa-wide network will be dedicated to people residing in member states of the African Union, with the aim to support access to novel vaccines, medicines. In addition, BioNTech is advancing the mRNA-based vaccine candidates to address malaria and tuberculosis based on the company's mRNA platform. The vaccine candidates are expected to enter the first in-human trials soon. And moving on, the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, Donatel Mukabalisa, appreciates the role of the European Union in helping the country in various sectors, including food security and fighting malnutrition. She revealed this to the Ambassador of the European Union when they held discussions on Wednesday. We now go to Jessica Agasaro for more.
69 million euros, which is more than 7 billion Rwandan francs, is the funds that the European Union has agreed to give to the Rwandan between 2022 and 2025, which will be used in the health programs, environmental protection, increasing the agricultural production in quantity and quality in order to deliver to the domestic and regional markets. The ambassador of the European Union in Rwanda, Belen Calvo-Uyara, has claimed to support the vision that the country has.
We are working closely with the government of Rwanda and we support your Vision 2050. There we are working mainly on the education sector, supporting the youth to get fit for the digital age. We are also supporting a green agriculture, inclusive agriculture in the country. We are very pleased to work together with the European Union member states as a Team Europe in supporting also the Kigali wholesale market. This is a flagship of our activities that we will be engaging in the new year.
The European Union is helping Rwanda achieve food security and fight malnutrition through Kungahara projects. However, Sengiyumva Francois, who is a professional farmer, finds that self-sufficiency in food production requires indoor cultivation, known as greenhouse. The problem is that it is expensive to maintain it.
External support is also very necessary for this type of agriculture, especially since the cost of maintaining a greenhouse is between 15 and 20 million Rwandan francs. So not everyone can afford that. There are youth organizations and cooperatives out there. They can do it right away. But when the government gets such support, people can get together in a cooperative and they get the fund for their own greenhouse. Then maybe tell them we need the money back in 5 years to help others build their own greenhouse here and there.
The Speaker of the Parliament, Honorable Mukabalisa Donatil, received in her office the Ambassador of the European Union in Rwanda, Belen Calvo-Uyara, and she was able to thank her for the 20 million euros that the European Union has given to Rwanda in order to support efforts to restore peace and safety in Mozambique.
Birazwi ko bagize uruhare rugaragara mu kugarura amahoro muri kiriya gihugu cya Mozambique.
It is known that they have played a significant role in restoring peace in that country, Mozambique. Seeing how they were able to help Rwanda in these activities is something we are grateful for and we are happy about it. We appreciate their support in the field of agriculture, education, energy and health, and so many other sectors that plays an important role in improving the economy of our country.
kuzamura ubukungu bw'igihugu cyacu.
In September this year is when Belen Calvo Uyara began her duty as an ambassador of the European Union in Rwanda. The European Union is made of 27 countries with a population of over 446 million people. Jessica Agasaro, RTV News.
Thank you, Jessica. Now, coffee farmers across the country credit their low production to old coffee trees and the reduction in the amount of fertilizers that is availed to them. The reduction in production has also affected the country's GDP. We now go to Prince Manzi.
The coffee cultivators in the southern province started replacing old trees and other different activities done to take care of coffee for the increase of production, as they say that the production is less. The cultivation of coffee was going well, apart of some times that the production was less due to the climate change and trees that are now old and not productive, as they are now 50 or 30 years. I have 1,200 coffee plants. I used to get 7 to 6 tons every year, but now I get 4 to 5 tons. As times pass, the production is flopping. The production is not now efficient because we used to have enough production and pay fees for our children, but now the production is scarce. Many people stopped cultivating coffee and eradicate the plants, but now we have a program of replacing the old with the new. This least production of coffee is also affirmed by a drinking coffee seller, Stafford Bagumya. With reference to the last year, a coffee bean was on 300 Rwandan francs average, but now in some places is 800. It is obvious that this is a drastic increase, so this is an issue. And when it is in the sunny season, there are some insects that affects them and hence this production. In solving this problem of least coffee production, industries and sellers find ways the farmers can get enough seedlings, but these seedlings are not enough, as explained by Silas Majambere, the agronomist in Musambira sector. There is a challenge that farmers who need coffee seedlings are not getting them, as the seedlings available are not enough. The National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda demonstrates that the gross domestic of agricultural products exported reduced by 1% in the third quarter of 2022 compared to the last year. The Director General of the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, Yusufu Murangwa, states that the coffee production exported deducted highly.
In agriculture, export crops decreased by 1%, with a decrease of 7.2% in the production of coffee. But tea production increased by 22%.
The numbers of the National Agricultural Export Development Board demonstrated in 2020-2021, 42,000 of land that coffee was planted on. The production varied between 16 and 21 tons of coffee. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
In more news, in less than 20 days, the Rwanda Revenue Authority has recovered more than 230 million Rwanda francs, and that is in search for vendors who do not provide EBM invoices. Jessica Agasaro unpacks more.
Present seller says that they understand the importance of accepting and issuing an EBM invoice, which is why they find that a vendor that doesn't give or issue the EBM invoice is cheating the country's economy.
But it is important as we learn about the EBM because it helps us develop our country, have roads and clinics. It is an advantage to many.
Despite this, there are some vendors who continue to sell their product without issuing an EBM invoice. While the Rwanda Revenue Authority has been conducting a 2-week search for the vendors who do not provide an EBM invoice, some were caught in the crime and they have been arrested. It's time for other vendors to learn from this.
I didn't know where the bid of 30,500 Rwandan francs came from. I don't know who they gave it to. I only saw it in the newspapers. Before, it used to happen when we give the customer an invoice with a small amount, but they gave me a remark and I corrected it.
The lesson I learned from this is that nothing can be released from the shop without an EBM invoice.
This leaves us with the lesson that every customer who comes to buy your goods and services must be given an EBM invoice.
The Rwanda Revenue Authority spokesperson Jean-Paul Uwitonze says that issuing an EBM invoice contributes to raising the country's tax rate. Therefore, there should be no excuse for not issuing them.
First
and foremost, this allows tax to be added to the VAT that is collected correctly and distributed in a way it is received. So when we look at the rate of VAT on all taxes, there's about 34% of the total tax we collect in the country. So saying that the price has gone up because of issuing the EBM invoice is an excuse and a trick that we know some of the vendors uses to avoid the tax that they have to pay. So no one is above these obligations.
The Rwanda Revenue Authority started the search for the vendors who do not issue the electronic billing machine invoice, and they have recovered more than 230 million Rwandan francs that was embezzled. Jessica Gasaro, RTV News.
Thank you, Jessica. The Embassy of Israel in Rwanda has donated 20 cows to the people of Nyaruguru district. It is not the first time for the beneficiaries to receive the cows. However, in the past, they have died. Now, the value of the cows varies according to the type. Take a look. Israel in Rwanda has donated 20 cows to the people of Nyaruguru district. It is not the first time for beneficiaries to receive cows, but they died. The value of the cows varies according to the type. Now I'm going to get milk to drink and get fertilizers for my farm, as well as enjoy taking care of my grandchildren, the ones that God gave me. According to the ambassador of Israel to Rwanda, Ron Adam, they donated the cows because they know their role in improving and empowering lives.
We are giving cows, part of Girinha program of the government, which we totally adhere to and happy to be part of. It is now 120 cows that the embassy donated to six districts. Nyaruguru is the sixth one, and of course it empowers the population, the poor people. Of course, we hope that the cows will be taken care of. There will be shelter will be built for them and shade, and that they will know they will have some capacity building on growing the food for the cow. So we're hoping that the cows will be taken care of very good.
The mayor of Nyaruguru district appreciates the support from Israel for the Girinha program and asks beneficiaries to honor it. The 20 beneficiaries were also given the necessary equipment such as pumps and medicine. So far, the Israeli embassy in Rwanda has donated 120 cows across the country. In addition to donating cows, the Israeli ambassador to Rwanda visited a school in Kibeho that takes care of children with disabilities and visited the genocide memorial of Chahinda for a conversation with the leaders of Nyaruguru district and the Catholic Church on promoting religious tourism to the Holy Land. Healthcare workers find that the rise of HIV among youth has increased due to ignorance, as well as not getting tested for HIV and AIDS. Adam Squizera has more.
Olivier Nitengua, a 23 years old, who lives in Nyarugenge district, Kigali city. We met him at Ibiryogo Health Center, where he was going to get tested for HIV/AIDS. Olivier explains the benefits of getting tested as a youth. He wanted to know my current status so that I can be able to know how I can prevent myself if I'm negative, or know how I should take care of myself if I'm positive infected. However, there are some people across the country who says that their fellows' understandings may be one of the main reasons for the increase of HIV prevalence.
impamvu mu rubyiruko hari urubyiruko rumwe sida bayiciye amazi mu buryo buri hejuru kuko
there are some young people who neglected HIV, where others began to involve in drug abuse, like taking beer. Rwanda Biomedical Center (RBC) shows that every year 5,000 people get infected for HIV/AIDS, where a third of them are young people. Dr. Remera Eric, a senior researcher at the Rwanda Biomedical Center (RBC), urges the youth to participate in HIV testing services to determine their status. First of all, we request that everyone should consult a doctor, hence to get tested. But when you don't have enough time, you can use a rapid test. Secondly, you have to verify the result by consulting the doctor. In a research carried out by Rwanda Biomedical Center (RBC), there are 230,000 people living with HIV, where the youth category lead the number, whereas girls are at 3.7% and boys are at 2.2% who are infected with HIV/AIDS. Despite the fact that the research also shows that in the last 5 years, the number decreased by 50%. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Thank you, Adams. Now, entrepreneurs with businesses that were previously disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic during the festive season appreciate that now the situation is much better. They're also hopeful that their clientele will increase during the festive season. Prince Manzi now reports.
Some of the citizens and entrepreneurs appreciate that the festive season is almost here and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has been subsidized, and they are ready to celebrate with their loved ones.
In the past years, we could not celebrate due to COVID-19, but now we are able to and celebrate with our families. Now that the COVID-19 is not a big issue, we are working hard and the clients are increasing.
The COVID-19 pandemic was also a threat to some of the entertainment businesses, such as bars and hotels, but now these businesses owners state that in these festive seasons, they are ready to boost the number of clients as well as the development of their businesses.
Acquiring customers was very difficult as it was required to put a meter distance between two people. People coming as a family were not able to sit and chat together.
Because of the time wasted, it seems that now is the only chance to strengthen our activities and recover quickly from the losses we had. In these festive seasons, every entrepreneur is innovating and introducing new things so that clients can see that we are ready to take care of them. The ending 2022 is a year that is leaving the service sector with an increase in the recovering rate, as the numbers demonstrated in the third quarter of 2022. The services sector provided 47% of the country's total GDP. Prince Manzi, RTV News.
That's a wrap. I am Isabel Masozer on behalf of the entire RBA News broadcast team. Thanks for watching and do keep it RTV.